Hello friends, I'm Dr. Vijay Prakash and today I'll be telling you about resin cements in fixed prosthodontics. Resin cements according to ADA specification number 27 are flowable composites of low viscosity, and resin cements were based on methyl methacrylate and has been in market since 1952. And they are mostly used for cementing the indirect restoration. Resin cements can be methyl methacrylate based or bis GMA dimethacrylate or urethane dimethacrylate based with fillers of colloidal silica or barium glass, which is around 20 to 80% by weight. And these resin cements are virtually insoluble in oral fluids, and that is the reason they are commonly used for cementing indirect restorations. Also in the composition they have organosilanes, which are used with the fillers to ensure that they form a wear resistant material, especially when we are bonding veneers. So they are very helpful in that. Bonding agents are also provided in order to promote bonding between the cement and the tooth structure, and bonding can take place because of the adhesive monomer in the bonding agent, which could include your 4-meta or carboxylic acid and an organic organophosphate such as 10-meta-acryloxy D-methyl phosphoric acid that we commonly call as 10-MDP. Resin cements are commonly used for cementing all ceramic crowns, fixed partial dentures, for cementation of porcelain laminate veneers, inlays, onlays, for bonding of orthodontic brackets, and also used for cementation of resin bonded bridges, for cementing prefabricated and cast metal dowels in the endodontically treated teeth. So these are all the common uses of resin cements. Now cements can be classified on the basis of polymerization. They can be self-cured resin cement or light cured resin cement, or they can be dual cured resin cements. Dual cured resin cements, which is having both the properties of self cure and light cure, they are one of the most commonly used resin cements in dentistry. They can be supplied in the form of powder or liquid, or they can be supplied in the form of single component system or a double component system. So the cement which you see in front of you is a double component system. And how does it bond? Resin bonding to the enamel is by micromechanical interlocking into the acid etched surface, and if you see the resin bonding to the dentine surface, that is more complex, which requires the removal of smear layer and surface demineralization and application of dentine bonding agents. So there are different mechanisms by which resin cements can be used for bonding and use the adhesive techniques. So as we have the generation of bonding systems, so one can be the etch and rinse resin cements, self-etch resin cements, and self-adhesive resin cements. Now briefly let us see about each of these bonding mechanism. First is the etch and rinse resin cement. It is basically a methyl methacrylate based resin cement which uses etch and rinse adhesive. And in this what you do, you use phosphoric acid for etching the tooth surface, which is then followed by application of primer and bonding agent, and the surface of the tooth should not be completely dried, because this will lead to desiccation, and also it will lead to collapse of the collagen fibrils. So definitely you have to just dry that, not desiccate it. That is very important. Then after this, once you have done this, then you mix the resin composite and you apply it onto the surface of the crown or veneer, whatever, and then polymerize that. So bonding here is achieved by micromechanical interlocking, as we had mentioned about resin bonding to the enamel and dentine surface. And here basically the dual cure method of polymerization is recommended, and this helps in achieving adequate bond strength. Next type of bonding mechanism is based on self-etched resin cement. Now self-etched resin cement is the 6th generation bonding agent, And in this, if we see, the self-etch primer is applied onto the tooth surface before applying the resin cement. And this self-etch resin cement is can be a two-step or a one-step system. Now, if it is a two-step system, then it consists of self-etching primer and a hydrophobic adhesive resin. Whereas in a single-step system, it consists of an etchant, primer and a bonding agent in a single bottle. And if we see in this method, the tooth surface is demineralized and infiltrated at the same time. Although here, if we see, like in this type of system, we should not remove the smear layer, because it helps in bonding, and it is impregnated with the acetic monomer. So that is the reason. And bonding in this method is also dependent on micromechanical interlocking. So this is the second type of bonding mechanism. Third type of bonding mechanism, as I told you, is a self-adhesive resin cement, which corresponds to the 7th generation bonding agent. And in this type of cement, we don't require to etch or bond, and it is a single step or a single step system, which where the bonding is by chemical means and not by micromechanical means. So here, if we see, the phosphoric acid in resin reacts with the filler particles and the tooth surface in the presence of water to form a bond. So before using this cement, it is recommended that we etch the surface of the tooth and then we use this cement. So here the resin polymerizes. Once we use this, when we mix this resin, it polymerizes in forming a cross-linked polymer. In this type of resin cement, we find that the bond strength is inferior to the etch and rinse resin cement, and that is the reason we recommend that dual cure cement, resin cements are a better choice. But they are not indicated everywhere, so you have to be careful with the choice of cement which you are making. According to the indication, you have to use that particular type of cement. Now, just briefly about the types of resin cement. They are of three types, as we mentioned in the beginning. That is chemical cure resin cement, light cure resin cement, and the dual cure resin cement. So in a chemical cure resin cement, it is supplied as a two-component system, wherein you can have a powder and a liquid, and these two components are mixed on a paper pad, and the mixing time is just 20 to 30 seconds. This is very critical, because if you delay this, then removal, once you have placed the restoration onto the pipette surface of the tooth, then removing the excess cement becomes a problem, because the cement gets polymerized. Although chemical cure resin cement is suitable to bond all type of processes, so that is the good thing about this type of cement. Next is the light cure resin cement. It is supplied as a single component system and mainly composed of methyl methacrylate monomers, photoinitiators, as it is a light cure system. And this is indicated to cement thin ceramic restorations, resin-based processes, and a ceramic plastic orthodontic brackets. And the time of exposure of light for polymerization should not be more than 40 seconds. So the time of exposure depends on the intensity of light transmitted and the thickness of resin cement. Another thing very important here is that excess of cement should be removed as the process is completely seated. For that reason, what you can do, you can briefly expose light so that it is easy for you to remove, so that you can just give a brief exposure of light and just remove the excess of cement, and then you can polymerize the rest part of the restoration. Next type is the dual cure resin cement. As you can see, it is supplied in front of you. You can see this is a dual cure resin cement, which is a two-component system, which is having a base paste and a catalyst paste. The base paste consists of methyl methacrylate monomers, fillers, chemical or a light activated initiators, and the catalyst paste, if you see, they consist of a methacrylate monomer and fillers and activators. So here mixing is done similar to the chemical cure system, that is you use a mixing pad, or also you can use injection system, which is auto mixing system you can use nowadays. You are having that. The best thing about this type of cement is the chemical activation is very slow and it provides an extended working time until light activation starts. So once you have completely seated the restoration, then you can activate it with light. So light activation, cement hardens the cement rapidly, and it continues to gain strength over the extended period of time due to chemically activated polymerization process. So one thing which we have to keep in mind when we are using dual curve resin cement is that you should not, since the light cannot penetrate the processes more than 2.5 millimeters. So if you are having a restoration which is more than that, then in those cases you should use a chemically activated resin cement. Next is the manipulation of resin cement. Here, if you're having a powder and liquid, it is dispensed on the mixing pad. And if you're having a paste system like we are having in this thing where we're having the paste and catalyst paste, what we are doing, I'll just explain it to you. Before that, something which we need to know is how do we prepare the surface, how do we give a surface treatment of various type of processes. Suppose we are talking about ceramic processes, like you're having a ceramic crown, the internal surface of the ceramic crown. So we are talking about the internal surface treatment of various types of processes. Like in ceramic processes, if we see, the ceramic processes can be of three major types. One is the glass based ceramic processes, wherein you cover up the veneers, laminate and veneers, and then you have the glass infiltrated alumina based ceramic, wherein you have these anterior and posterior, maybe a premolar or a single molar crown. And then you have the zirconia based ceramic. Now a crown which we see in front of you is a zirconia based ceramic, but I'll be explaining you all the three types, wherein first is the glass based ceramic processes, like in the case of the internal surface of the veneer. So this is the internal surface. So in case of a veneer, if we see, then we have to do a surface treatment because it is a glass based ceramic processes. We have to do a surface treatment using 5 to 9.5% of hydrofluoric acid. Why hydrofluoric acid? Because hydrofluoric acid selectively dissolves the glass matrix, creating microporosities, and it helps in bonding, better bonding. And the surface is then conditioned with once you have treated with hydrofluoric acid, after that the surface is conditioned with silane coupling agents. And in processes which are glass based, like the laminates and veneers, or a single crowns which are used in the anterior region, you should not do sandblasting. That is contraindicated. Now next is the glass infiltrated alumina based ceramic. In this, the surface of such processes is treated with tribochemical silica coating particles, because you have to treat the surface. You can use 110 microns of pure alumina, also aluminum oxide, and here you can condition with silane coupling agents. Next is the zirconia based ceramics, like the crown which you see in front of you is a zirconia crown, and the surface treatment of a zirconia based ceramic is done either by air particle abrasion or by tribochemical silica coating. So this is basically done by the lab, and you get the crown which is already surface treatment, so you don't need to do most of the time any kind of surface treatment that is of the internal surface. Next type of processes are the bonding of metal processes. Now the inner surface of the metal processes is grit blasted or sandblasted with particle size of 30 to 50 micron alumina particles with the air pressure of around 0.4 to 0.7 megapascals. So this is already been done and sent to you once they have done the surface treatment in the lab. Some of the resin cements, like the Panivia cement, they use metal primers containing adhesive promoters for bonding. That is for the manufacturers say that you should apply the metal primers before bonding the metal processes onto the tooth structure. Next is the bonding of orthodontic brackets. Here, if you see the metallic brackets or the plastic bracket, that is the ceramic brackets, you have the tissue surface of the brackets. They have some kind of mechanical retention. If you see, you have meshes which help in locking the adhesive resin onto the tooth structures. So you have this kind of meshes on the internal surface, that is the tissue side of the orthodontic brackets, and once you flow the resin on these, they help in providing you better retention of the bracket onto the tooth surface. So bonding of the resin to the ceramic bracket is achieved by etching it, and then you apply organosilicons on the surface. And if you talk about plastic brackets, they are primed with a solvent containing methyl methacrylate monomer to attain a good bonding. So this is all about the orthodontic brackets when you're bonding. Now let's see what is the manipulation method. Now the manipulation of the resin cement, before that you have to surface treat the surface of the crown. Now this is the 3D model printed model of a crown, that is the pipette tooth. And what you're going to do, you're going to take the activator and the bonding agent, a drop of it, and an activator, so once you have taken that, mix it with the applicator brush, and when you have mixed with the applicator brush, you apply onto the surface of the tooth like this. Air dry that. You have to air dry for 5 seconds like this, and once you have air dried that, then you have to cure this with light cure for 10 seconds. Then after this, you're going to take the crown and you're going to apply this mixture onto the surface, the internal surface of the crown, like this. Once you have applied this, then you'll do the same thing. You're going to air dry this for 5 seconds. You have to be careful. Your jet of air should not be too harsh, too hard. Should be very gentle blow of air. Once you have air dried for 5 seconds, after this you are going to cure it for 10 seconds. So once you have done the surface treatment of both the tooth and the restoration, then you're going to take the base paste and you're going to take it in equal length. So you're going to take equal length of the base and catalyst paste. And then you are going to quickly mix that, because this is very important, because when you are quickly mixing it, you are minimizing the chances of air incorporation, air inclusion, and then you're going to place it onto the internal surface of the crown like this. And once you have applied this, then you're going to the working time which you get is around 25 to 30 seconds. After this, the mixed cement, you're going to just press it in place onto the pipette crown. Now the excess cement which you see, this should be removed. So what you do, you just cure it with a brief 5 seconds. You can just cure the surface. So it's a gentle cure. If you have seen this, then it becomes easy for you. With the brief cure, you just remove it. It becomes easy to remove the excess cement like this, and you can see this is just coming out. And once you have done this, you are satisfied with your adjustments and everything, and after that you do the final cure. So finally you light cure all the surfaces all around the crown. Now in a ceramic type of processes, if you have especially the glass based ceramic, then you may require a different shade of your resin cement. So that is the reason you have to keep a good armamentarium when you talk about thin shells of laminates and veneers or glass based processes. So these, especially in the anterior region, you may require to use a different shade of resin cement. So once you have cured that, you finally check, and then you can send the patient. So with this we come to end of our presentation. Thank you for watching the video.